Throwdown.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 115. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
We are back.
Damn crush.
Brian Munjoma.
Hey guys, what's up?
Chris Seeley.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Hey guys, Happy New Year.
Brett Murdock.
Hi, everybody.
And Adam Vale.
Show enough.
We got to get that. So people, as you heard, we got a soundboard finally. Very excited about that. Manny's gonna probably hit us with some random shit tonight. So I want to give a big shout out to Danny from the Hard Knock Gamers who showed us how to do this. I was on their podcast like about a month ago, and these dudes were playing sound effects, that intro. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? How'd you do that? Because we've been wanting that since day one. We just couldn't figure it out. So he helped us. We were having a little bit of difficulties and shit, but he helped us through it, and we got some shit, man. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. You can finally hear our intro music. The YouTube guys never hear that shit. It's great. It is marvelous, isn't it? Yep. All right. So I was talking to Manny, I think yesterday. I was like, Manny, I think there's going to be a slow show. We're back during the year, nothing really happening. And then crazy shit happens. So we got a full one, but also very special guest with us tonight, even though he shouldn't be special because he was one of the founders of Throwdown. My man, Riku's son, the only one.
What's good, little niggas?
Riku, how you been,
man? 2016, I'm glad that fucking year is over. It was a fucking roller coaster. Good things, bad things. We'll be here in 2017. This first part is gonna be hard for games, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, January, forget about it. So yeah, Riku, what you been up to, just lately, gaming, life, all of that shit. Please regale us with stories.
Gaming wise, man, dude, do you know how many platinums I got last year?
Wait, didn't you say you went on a platinum diet though?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking to you about. Yeah. Nigga, I can count how many platinums I got with my fingers last year.
Oh wow, Manny, we need a gasp sound effect.
You went back to like the PS1 game.
We don't have a gasp one, but we do have like a. Wait, hold on. I'm still learning this.
Yeah, but so Riku, you only got like enough to count on your finger, like on one hand, man.
Yeah. Wow. So what Adam was saying was right. I've been playing a lot of PSP and PS1 classic games and whatnot. But before 2016, out of all of the years of me collecting platinums, my weakest year was 12 platinums in a year. 1 platinum a month. Last year, I got 6 platinums. So it was half of what my lowest was, and I was like, "Oh, I'm disgusted myself. 6 fucking platinums." I got 13 one time in a summer season one time. So it was just
damn. Yeah, you went deep. But like, I gotta ask you this: so, what is it like? Are there just like not games that you're interested in anymore? Like, what's the deal?
I think it is a combination of games I'm not interested in.
One of the best games ever made is My Name Is Mayo. I mean, come on now,
dude. I heard you can get that platinum in like fucking 3 hours or something.
There you go. You can start 2017 on a roll.
Adam, there's a special name for platinums like that, and we told you about it.
Yeah, I know.
I heard about that.
Pussy platinum. Yeah, that's a Miley Cyrus Terminator Salvation fucking platinum right there. You don't want that on your record,
I was like, 3 hours? What the fuck? They better be making you work here. Those better be the hardest 3 hours of my game in life.
3 hours? What was 3 hours?
My Name Is Mayo.
Oh, no, that's like 30 minutes.
Oh God.
It's like, no. It's funny because you see in the forums and people are like, man, I'll get it, but I'm gonna bury it with all kinds of other stuff. So they were just up legit games, and they were like, yeah, I got it, and now I'm just like putting Tomb Raider and everything on top of it, just cover it up.
But those diligent dudes, they're gonna scroll down like, wait, whoa, what is this?
Manny, you brought this up the other day in chat, but I saw that also on the forums. A lot of people were getting the Day of the Tentacle. They said that's a pretty quick one.
Yep, it's a pretty easy one. It's pretty much like getting any of the
Telltale.
the Telltale games because it's a point-and-click adventure. So it's just they said if you follow the little trail, you could pretty much get all the trophies in one.
I got that the Grim Fandango one. I got the platy for that one.
Yeah.
You know what I find interesting? Like, they're like, shit like I Am May or whatever, that's like shameful platinums, right? But
they're
nobody
not supposed
considers
to have it.
No, but like Telltale games, they're not considered shameful platinums, even though they're easy as shit. Like all you need to do is just beat the game and you get a platinum.
But yeah, it's more like you have to play it. You know what I mean? It's like you have to go through the whole thing. And sometimes people just don't do it. So hey, you don't get it.
I mean, for Telltale games, there is a fair amount of replay to them where you got to do something. There are like for The Wolf Among Us, there's certain things that you have to do alternate routes or take an alternate route throughout the story.
Yep. You had to replay the last part.
I think when it comes to that, I would give credit to Heavy Rain.
Oh my God! Heavy Rain.
See, the Heavy Rain is the real one that you have to actually go out of your way to see all of the paths.
The hardest one was Until Dawn. Until Dawn. So
Until Dawn was harder than Heavy Rain?
Because you can't just restart the chapter if you were trying to fix something in a story. So if one of your characters died, let's say in chapter 5, you had to play all the way back to 1. You couldn't replay 5 and have him survive and then continue on.
I was actually thinking about that game.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it proper, all the way from beginning to end.
Yeah, you got to be like prepared for that shit.
Yeah.
I've done those kind of platinums. We got to pre-prepare.
It's not forgiving with the QTEs either. You miss one, you die. There's no rage quit because you come back. It knows.
That's crazy. But Rico, real quick, are you planning to get more platinums this year, or is it going to be about the same?
Oh man, that's what I was asking myself. I'm like, I know there's a few that I want to platinum when they come out, like Horizon Zero Dawn, and if Gundam Versus and Dinosaurs 9 actually come out this year. But
Dinosaurs.
Every
time I'm not even trolling you. Every time you say, I'm like, this nigga just say dinosaurs. They're like, oh wait, Dynasty Warriors.
I guess I say it a bit fast, but yeah, if those games come out, I'm
going to ask you about Dynasty Warriors in a little bit. We'll save that for the end of the show. Now, before we move on, there's something else I want to talk about. Very, very surprising, but in a good way. So Carlos got a new accessory, man. Carlos,
what is this?
You got gold caps?
It was like, when did this come out? 2011, I think. 2010, this thing came out. It's called the PS Vita, and it took me 5 years to finally get to this, man. A PS fucking Vita, the blue, the Japanese one. It looks freaking beautiful, and and people have always told me, like, ever since it came out, because I never bought it. I never had like any judgment because I couldn't. I mean, I never played it, so people always told me it's like, oh, it doesn't have any games. Don't buy it. And you know what? One thing that actually convinced me to get this is Final Fantasy 15, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 15 is like a game that I like delved into a lot last year, and I played like over 60 hours of it. But the thing that I wanted to do after playing that game is play a real turn-based strategy RPG. And I'm like, man, nah, fuck this shit. Like the combat system's okay, but this, like, I would have appreciated Final Fantasy 15 more if it was turn-based for me. And yeah, well, I'm playing Persona 5 right now, which is it's turn-based.
That's turn-based up the ass right there, man. I love that shit. It's funny because like Carlos just got a Vita, and I just got into Vita because I'm like, okay, I have money now. Fuck it, I'm gonna plunk down $100. I bought the 64 gigabyte memory card. So I started just getting into it. Persona 5. That's the game I started playing in 2012, I believe. Finally got into it. I'm like 30 hours in. Love the game, man.
It is. Danganronpa is another good one. It's still pricey, but yeah, those are some good ones.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to know when you're becoming a Vita gamer. I'm only comparing it to PC to the point where it's gonna take a little pretty penny out of your pocket. Not as far as performance or if you actually dive in there, it definitely has a slew of games that you can definitely enjoy. But this ain't someone that is looking for some cheap some cheap ways around here and there. Nah, that you see that 64 gigabyte memory stick, that price has not changed since the fucking came out.
It's
telling
sad
people every time
go ahead.
Every time I talk to someone about why they don't really get into the Vita. They always complain about the memory card. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
you're acting like this is a subscription of $100 that you're gonna have to pay Sony for to keep that 64 gigabyte memory card for the rest of your Vita life. It's a one-time payment. Suck it up. It's not dropping. If you want the fucking memory, because you're gonna need it all in place. Fucking PlayStation Plus games and all the digital shit. Just fucking get it, man.
No, you're 100% right about that.
They'll be surprised how many games they already have from the Plus, and plus it does the PS Now, which I haven't tried.
I just find it so funny that people are ready to drop so much money for components for their PC to play, just the the best versions of multi-platform games and whatnot. But when it comes to the Vita, which I think, in my opinion, the only thing that's really expensive as far as the components is that memory stick.
That is it. Everything else is relatively cheap. Even the games are cheap. You know
what's something that. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
One thing that I really like, it's so trivial and so stupid, but I like the fact that you can get trophies on it and it syncs up with your PSN. It seems so dumb, right? No. But it when you get a trophy and it's it's part of all my lists. So it's like this PlayStation Hub where all your games
ecosystem.
Yeah. And I got Steins Gate 0, man. Oh my
God. I know you're hype.
I know you're ready, son.
You know that nigga hype for that shit. The only thing I really this game was made for fucking Carlos.
One thing I didn't like is that they had the speakers right underneath the thumb.
Yeah, the thumb. So if you press it a certain way,
you cover it. Yeah. So it's like every time I play it, I have my headphones in.
I never had that problem.
No, I've had that. I always have that problem, man. It's like, wait, why is the sound off? Oh, because my thumb's over the.
I have been playing. I've been playing on my headset almost every time I play my video.
Yeah, that's
same here.
But
so that's pretty crazy, man. So Carlos, I guess you're digging it then, huh?
Man, it's pretty awesome. The fact that you can save the state of your game and do something else on the Vita is just perfect. You can.
But that's all. The funny thing is that's where all the PlayStation 4 stuff. That you can literally talk to people on your PlayStation Vita use just that way. It has the same messaging service. So
and remember when we did that test, we switched back and forth. You were on the Vita, and then I was on the Vita, and then we did the chat, and then we were on PS4 to Vita.
You did that with me also, didn't you? When I think it was the midnight release of the Vita or the PS4, one of those two.
Yeah, I remember what I would do is whenever I would talk to, I think I would talk to Riku or anybody who was on the using the Vita, and the Vita uses all the same stuff, so it's this is pretty awesome.
That's why I'm gonna bash on the PS4 just a little bit for the guys that don't think we bash on PlayStation. Oh, you look at them jacking off the PlayStation accessories. But here's one thing, motherfuckers, about PS4 that still irks me till today, is that when the PS4 came out, all of the features that it has right now, it didn't have a lot of those from the get-go. Like the fact that if you go to, let's say, the what's new section,
SharePlay wasn't there.
True, SharePlay. One of them was, in the what's new section, you see someone's activities, and let's say they just got a platinum. It has a little comment section that you can, thumbs up and say congrats and whatnot. That wasn't there day one, and they eventually came, but Vita had all of that shit day one. They have their own what's new section. If you go to the Friends app, you see all that stuff your friends are playing. You could thumbs it up. You can there's a comment section and all that stuff. All of that was there. So obviously, it's PS4 as far as from its software.
I was just really surprised that with all the firmware upgrades that they didn't change the interface. The UI is still the same. Yeah, for the Vita, I thought I could have swore I was watch, they're gonna have it mesh up and it's gonna match just like the PS4. And it never did. It's still little bubbles.
You don't like the bubbles?
The bubbles are fine, but it's the
bubbles are good. They're chilling.
I think the only thing that got a UI update was the friends list. If you remember what the friends list app used to look like.
Yeah.
They got rid of Skype. They took Skype support off.
Yeah. All right. I want to move on to our main stuff, but I just quickly want to do this. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay, that's 1, 2. Look at all these games. I thought the system didn't have any games. What's up with that?
How many pages do you have?
What happened? Oh, by the way,
how many pages?
I have 4, so that's not even a lot. By the way, Slain. If you guys are Slain and Axiom Verge. Those are not old games. They came out last year. This shit is still getting new games, people.
If I remember right, Slain is by the same group that did what's it called? With the Mexican wrestler, side scroller.
Guacamole.
Guacamole.
Guacamole. Which was also another.
There you go. Good. Yeah. All right. Let's move on quickly here. So we need to talk about this, man. There was a little bit of friction in the Xbox fanboy community over the fucking holiday season. You figured holidays, everybody's gonna go home, play games. Nope. People went crazy. The biggest thing that happened was, you all know Mooch, right? He was like the biggest guy from BGST, right? Somebody found out his personal information and outed this man, and he got a bunch of heat. Like, the thing is, I do want to say this. He wasn't doxxed. Like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, he was doxxed. Like, no. All that information was out there. Instagram's out there. His job phone number was out there. But even though I despise this man, I think he's scum. He's a piece of shit. I say keep that shit relegated to Twitter or YouTube. Don't bring his family into it. So it just seems to me like the whole console war thing is like, these guys are literally saying it's a war now. I know Mooch said that, like, war finds you. Now war found him.
That's what's going on in Chicago in real life. It's all cyber banging. All those deaths that you keep hearing about on the news. It's not just one gang versus another. It's people just killing each other from Facebook. People like just hating on each other, and it's
crazy, man. So there was that going on, and it's like, and nothing's been corroborated yet. Like, apparently this guy lost his job, apparently, because these dudes were calling his job constantly harassing and shit. And they're like, what is this? Exposing his blatant racism, which he was. All this madness, and there was even talk about a Xbox community civil war, because like, they didn't like what Mooch said about that guy. Remember that guy who went on stage for that dragon cancer? He was crying and stuff because he made the game for his child. So a certain segment, like half of the Xbox community was like, yo, you can't be doing that stuff. You can't be making fun of these guys. And they kind of are rebelling against the more like extreme elements, right? I don't know if that's happening exactly, but very, very crazy. And then all this shit went down during a holiday, out of all places. You figure people would just be chilling, but nope, they went in. It's sad.
Yeah, that's not cool at all, man. Here's the thing. You can believe or say things that you can believe all kinds of things. But the thing is that the minute that you start, these words and stuff start to become harmful, or when people start taking action, that's when things start becoming a big problem. And I hate to defend somebody who's obviously made racist comments, but he still does have the right to say what he wants to say.
Freedom of speech, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if you have a problem with what he says, take it up with him on Twitter, take it up with him in his, YouTube channel. That's fine. You'll keep it relegated to the internet. Don't start like posting pictures of his kids and stuff. It's like, I know the guy's a scumbag, but don't do that. Don't keep that shit off. And I know a couple people that have set their Twitter to private. They don't want to get exposed either. It's nuts. Like,
what do you mean they don't want to get exposed? Like, they don't want their private information exposed? Like, they're old school people that use handles like us?
Yeah, basically, this guy, he never showed his face. He never revealed his real name. And for years, people go like, hey, what is this guy's deal? What is his real name? What does he look like? So people have wanted this information. But yeah, they basically just got, private information. His real name, his address, his phone number, all that type of shit, So that stuff. So basically, it's like, people who hide behind anonymity, it doesn't work if other people want to get you.
Well, there's always somebody that knows someone. You know what I mean? There's always
that's where the Civil War stuff comes from. Like, apparently, even though the Sony guys are being blamed for this, right? Apparently, it was one of his own guys, people that knew him, that exposed them. They're like, yo, you can't be saying that type of shit, So who knows what's happening? But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like things are going to escalate now. So it's nuts, man. It's crazy. Like, it's supposed to be consoles. It's like the whole console war thing is supposed to be stupid and funny, But these guys are taking it serious now,
It's always been like that. Watch that movie Green Street Hooligans. It's just soccer. It's just sport. It's
I was just about to compare it to other crazed
people just do
it. Like football, and I know there's some crazy.
Exactly. It's all about passion. If there's people passionate about something, they will show it in any way they can, whether it's physical or verbal.
Yeah, those physical fights in those sports. You talk about my team. War right there in the fucking stadium.
It's like, how that is not your team. You're not on that fucking team. You just sit your ass in the stands.
It's when you
But we're going to Super Bowl.
Then it is your team.
What happened, Fred?
But we're going to Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, we are going to the. You're gonna sit at home on your ass eating Cheetos, watching those dudes play.
There was a comedian who cracked a joke about it. He's like, I understand getting a team jersey and doing the whole thing, but when people go with the whole outfit, like, what do you think? Like, the coach is gonna say, "Damn, our star player's hurt. Yo, you're dressed for it. Come on down. You got the shorts and the shoes. Let's do this."
Yo, this dude's in the stands like, oh my God, my entire life has been leading up to this moment. It's happening.
Well, no, even more so, like, it's like they expect somebody to, like, one of the players to interview, like, after winning the Super Bowl, and be like, oh man, I just want to thank my mama for keeping me, into sports the whole time. I want to thank Jesus for having my back. I want to thank Doug in the third row for wearing his 2 lucky socks and coming to the tailgate today. Nobody cares about your sports traditions or your like.
There's one thing they care about.
Yeah, they're like I gotta be there. I gotta support them. Nobody cares if you showed up and drank beer in the parking lot. Nobody cares if you don't wash your jersey, between games of the season because it's like.
Only thing they care about is that you money. You paid for the ticket. That's what they care about. Yeah. After that, sit down and watch. They don't care about you anymore. We got your money. Same thing with the Xbox.
Exactly. Thank you, Riku. The same thing applies. Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, these guys don't give a fuck about you. Just like these other guys, Sony guys don't care about you either. So stop with that nonsense, man. But it did get funny. I want to lead into this thing. I'm not going to name names, right? But a certain dog, this dude, what happened is he called, I think it was Mike Ibarra dad, right? On Twitter. Everybody made fun of him for that. And he decided to come at me for, and I wasn't even making fun of him. I was just liking some of the tweets and stuff, that people were saying. And he was like, oh, you're attacking me. I'm like, I'm not attacking you. I just thought it was funny. You called another grown man your dad, So this dude goes on for hours doing this shit. I'm like, you know what, Tony? Cut your losses. I'm like, you're blocked, motherfucker. And that was one of my New Year's resolutions. I'm glad I did it. I started blocking the fuck out of these guys, man. It feels good. My timeline is clean now. Dude, check this out. I was at my friend Mike's house, right, for New Year's, right? We're chilling, had a great time, I wake up that morning, 7 a.m. I wake up that morning. My Twitter was blowing up. These Xbox guys decided to get at me for something I had said 5 days ago. I'm like, okay, this is New Year's Day, 7 in the morning, and you're coming after me. Really? So I had a block party that morning. So it was crazy. A literal block party. You guys are nothing. There was another guy he took a picture of himself pissing on a PS4, right? Like Crap Gamer, he actually sells t-shirts that have him pissing on a PS4. So then people were making fun of him, like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he said something to the line of like, oh, if my dick was a disc, I'd fuck my Xbox.
Like, oh my God.
Like, yo, dude.
Think if the internet was around when we had like multiple, like when we had Neo Geo, TurboGrafx, Sega, Dreamcast, you know what I mean? When we had like the pickings of consoles and not just what we have now, it would have been crazy. You would have had Neo Geo fanboys fighting in the street with people with an Atari Lynx.
Chris, get in here, man.
With that. Because I honestly think this fucking special snowflake generation is a bunch of micro sociopaths, and we weren't like that when we were kids.
Yes.
We didn't even people writing letters to Nintendo Power or PSM or Official Xbox Magazine. We had more civility. We knew how to spell. We didn't put all of our self-worth into a plastic box with circuits in it.
Did you write
That's
out your
what's
words?
happened now, though.
Also, you also got to take into consideration that the phone industry, they have a lot of different brands. It's just not Samsung and iPhone. There's LG and Motor, all these other guys that are out there. It's not just 2 or 3. Yet when it does come to that, those fan bases, only ones you really hear going back and forth are Samsung and Apple guys. And then maybe a third guy.
Yeah, it's like if you're running Android and
I do think
iOS.
I think if we had like, let's say, minimum of 4, maybe 5 or 6 different gaming consoles, we probably would still only hear from like 3 of them.
But think about it like this: there's like way more people that have Android and iPhones than people have PS4, Xbox, and Wii U's, and we don't see this volatility with people on with phones, man. It's only freaking consoles.
You're right. You're right.
I do see it, but
you don't see dudes pissing on iPhones on videos, you know. Like, I would
sure
fuck an iPhone if I could.
But you know what?
I feel kind of that strongly about Apple products, but that's because I still own one though. Like I bought a fucking iPad. Like I hate Apple, but I mean Steve Jobs being dead doesn't hurt them exactly. So it's you can hate a company based on like their business practices or who's running them or anything like that. Like there are legitimate reasons to be like, I don't like this company. But like idolatry of another company is not a good reason to hate one company.
Yeah, it's insane. These guys are nuts. And I feel it's going to get worse now. Now that this happened with Mooch, they're going to start exposing a bunch of people. Good thing, like for the most part, everybody knows my fucking name, so you can't expose me. You know, I don't got kids and shit.
It'll get worse when Scorpio comes out because the Switch will be out and the Pro, of course, is out, and everyone's gonna be like, "Look, it's better than everything." You know, they're gonna go nuts.
Look, here's the thing. Like, I maybe I don't get, but I kind of understand thinking this cool thing that you have is the greatest thing on the planet. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, by all means, if you spend several $100s on something, like, I want you to be happy with your purchase. I want you to have the opposite of buyer's remorse. I want you to wake up every day and be like, my gaming console is so fucking sweet. But, like, where along those lines do you start hating on the other side? Like, where? And I kind of know because like it, and I've seen it because these problems, like, and I'll just throw it out there. This shit happens more with millennials because y'all are so easily fucking triggered by shit.
Yep.
And then like you sense that somebody has insulted you, and then somebody starts flaming other people back. Like, the first shot fired isn't usually an intentional shot fired. It's a perceived insult or a perceived slight or some random annoyance that causes one person to shoot off in the mouth to another person, and then they get triggered by some little fucking thing. Like, just like you said, you're being mean to somebody by liking tweets. Like, you can't be mean to somebody by liking tweets. Honestly, if you wake up in the morning and you're like, somebody is bullying me because they liked a bunch of tweets, go fuck yourself. Like, there's no two ways about it. Nobody is bullying you. Grow a thicker fucking skin. I'm sorry that everything does not go your way. Nobody said it gets to. Like, nope. Not everybody on the internet is going to like you. Not everybody in a fucking room is going to like you.
Yeah, that's how life works, man. Yeah. These motherfuckers don't know how to accept shit. It's crazy, you know. But here's the thing, though. I agree with you about millennials because they just don't know how to take anything. But a lot of these guys, these Xbox guys, are guys that are either our age or older, acting like this shit. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's nuts, man. All right, let's move on here. Oh, quickly though, I want to give a quick shout out to Jack Move Johnny, who's in the chat right now. He says he's getting close to 100.
The pony commissioner,
Jack Move, man. The pony commissioner.
That's my nigga right there.
But Riku, that's my homeboy. But Riku, I think you got him beat on platinums. He says he's getting close to 100.
Yeah,
you got over that, don't you?
Yeah. We talked about. We played some Uncharted. We talked about trophies in the past and whatnot. Jack Move. I still listen to Weapon Wheel. I'm still getting caught up on one. He's hilarious. Cool.
Weapon Wheel's hilarious, man. They were talking about all this Xbox shit. It was funny, man. All right. Speaking about Xbox, so this is another thing that happened, not related to this. It's just silliness. Okay. So the official Xbox Twitter asked fans, "Hey, what games are you most looking forward to from us in 2017?" The game that got the most response it wasn't State of Decay, it wasn't Scalebound, it wasn't Cuphead, it wasn't Halo Wars, it wasn't Forza, it was Black Ops 2 backwards compatible. Like, you guys want an old ass game, and the responses I got were hilarious. Oh, but it's a great game. It's the most requested game on Xbox backwards compatibility. I understand that, but the question was, even though the question didn't specifically say new games, You should have known it was new games, guys. Come on, like you want an old ass game over something new, really?
But they did that before when they did the same post and everyone wanted Red Dead. Well, now you got Red Dead, and now what? It's Black Ops 2. Come on now.
Yeah, but like it's a brand new year. What games are you looking forward to from Xbox? They want that.
They're the part of the problem. You know how everyone's like, oh, why are we getting all these old games and remasters? Why are we getting all these new games? And then when the fucking companies ask you what new games do you want, what do?
Yeah, they want the old shit. But see, I took it a different way. I was like, okay, like, you know, basically, shit. Now I lost my fucking point. But yeah, you're right about that. It's like, you know, they'd rather have these like old games than new games, which is really odd to me. It's like, don't you want the Xbox has some good stuff coming out this year? What's up with that? You know?
You know, I guess because remember the 360 had a large install base. And
by the way, let me get this out now because I almost forgot it. Okay, to me, this is how I saw it. I'm like, okay, you guys are kind of leading like credence to the whole stereotype that Xbox guys only want shooting games. Like you don't get a bigger shooting game than, you know, Call of Duty.
Well, it was a Bro Gamer box. It was a Bro box. Yeah, but the whole thing is that I think a lot of these people, since they were just dedicated to 360, they still have their 360 connected, and they want to put it on the shelf. But there's some games that they continue to play, like the Red Dead Online, and then I guess Black Ops 2, and that's why that's something that they really want to see come next year.
Ooh, check this out. Phantom Vash, he's in the chat. He goes, Activision's is going to release a Black Ops 2 remaster collection and bundle it with the next COD. Watch. I can see that happening.
That's a smart move for them.
Did you guys? Well, I won't bring it up.
Okay, but I just find it funny. People were like, "Yo, you guys seriously just want Black Ops 2 backwards compatible?" Kind of interesting. You don't want all these new games that are coming out. You know.
I mean, part of it is a small part of me kind of understands why they would want something that they loved from last generation, only because when it comes to this generation,
they're disappointed.
Yeah, in the new game category, it hasn't been all fine and dandy. So, I mean, a little part of me is, you know, can see where they're coming from as far as getting something they know for a fact will be good because they've played it and they love it, and it's probably one of their favorite games of last generation. And they want it here, versus getting something new and being disappointed. But at the end of the day, it's something new, and you know, I will still choose something new because that old thing is still there.
Yeah, these are people, if they're pissed with the new COD, you know what? There's options out there. There's a butter game called Titanfall 2. You can run around, you can shoot robots, you can shoot people,
Battlefield,
you can
Battlefield comes
run walls. I'm telling you, just jump ship. Damn, it's not that hard. It's a damn game.
Brett, I don't think we hear you, man.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Brett.
The mouth
sorry. I think Adam just hit the nail on the head. I don't honestly think. Okay, bear with me here. The internet is like a child, and when you ask them serious questions and to chime in, they do things like name boats Bodie McBoatface. I'm pretty sure the response of wanting Black Ops is like an emotional knee-jerk response to them not liking the new Call of Duty. They're sending a message that they don't like the direction that the new shooters have gone, and they would prefer old games as opposed to these new games. Like it part of it's based in logic and part of it's based in reactional emotion. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense.
If Activision was smart, Activision won't make that backwards compatible.
No.
Yeah,
they'll find a way to sell it.
Remaster. They want to make that money then. I'm like, we're going to make you pay for this.
We probably just gave them the idea, by the way, but oh well, you know, you want that Black Ops 2? You know you're going to buy that shit, you know?
I wonder if Activision's going to be even more of a cock and be like, oh, you know what? First, let's give them World at War remaster. And then we'll give them Black Ops 1 remaster.
Let's do Ghost.
Let's go all the way back. We're not
going to jump straight to Black Ops 2. We're going to get these in order. Because, you know, there is a fan base for World of War. There's there is. People actually like World of War.
That was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, see? They had the whole zombies and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if the next remaster they bundle in with whatever the next Call of Duty is actually World of War next, and then Black Ops 1. And then Black Ops 2, because there's actually a fan base out there for Black Ops 1 also.
But this
So
is,
I wouldn't be surprised if they would cash grab for all of them.
This is the thing that bothers me, and we've all seen this, right? So let's say when you play these Call of Duty games like I do, I usually start with a campaign, right? But I've noticed in almost all of them, and this is what I love about the PlayStation, it shows you like the level of rarity for a trophy. Once you hit like campaign 3 and 4, you'll see ultra rare. I'm like, are you kidding me? There's like millions of people with this damn game. So they're all playing online. So if all these people are fiending for Black Ops 2, they just want the multiplayer aspect.
That's right.
And it's like, come on now. They're spending, don't you understand? Activision spends all this money on getting these famous voice actors. They put the whole, big budget feel for the campaign, and these people just bypass that shit.
Adam, I'm gonna hit you with some facts right now. You know my cousin, the voice of God, as you call him.
Oh my God!
He's one of those dudes. He tells me he buys a Call of Duty game, he never touches a single player. He goes straight to multiplayer, and that's all.
What a waste! That's a waste of money.
But to him, it's not a waste of money. He's spending hundreds of hours. So to him, it's not a waste of money.
Is he spending money also in the multiplayer, like buying those cards and packs and stuff?
Who knows? But to him, he likes it, So he's one of those dudes. He just buys Call of Duty every year, jumps right into the fucking multiplayer. Doesn't even touch
I can see that. Like if you're only interested in playing the multiplayer, I can imagine that playing through a campaign feels like a 12-hour tutorial. You're like, oh Jesus fucking Christ! I want to just shoot another person.
I gotta correct you. This is Call of Duty, 5-hour tutorial, 5 hours.
Excuse me. What makes them fun is, at least not with the Infinity Ward series, but the other ones, the Black Ops, is the fact that you can have your buddies jump in. So it's like, oh, come on, jump in, and guess what? Our XP carries over into multiplayer. So whatever we have now, it'll go into there, and it works out. Let's just have a good time and run around and start shooting people. And I don't know why people don't like it. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Oh, my man Jose Betancourt's in the building. I should get him on. Jose. He's calling me Ramu to death. And ram you to death. Yeah, because we're not wearing any underwear, Jose, just so you know. That's
wearing in 05.
Oh man, all right, let's move on here. So some interesting stuff, because CES is going on this week. Bunch of tech stuff. I'm not really into that, but
did you see that monitor? Did you see that laptop with three monitors?
That triple monitor one, right? That shit is crazy.
It opens up and it folds out. It's made by Edge, I think. It's ridiculous.
Manny, you got to get a Transformer sound effect. That shit was like,
I don't have any.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the battery life on that? It's like 15 minutes. Once it boots up, the shit shuts down.
Right?
Yeah, look at it. This is great.
But the thing I want to talk about first is the Nvidia streaming stuff that's going on. So basically, they're gonna have Nvidia GeForceNow, right? Basically, let's say you have a regular PC, right, or maybe a low end one, but you want to play games at like 1080p 60 frames a second, right? And you have a really good internet connection. You could actually play these games off their service, just streaming, right? I like that idea. I like the idea of it. Problem is the pricing is brutal. Basically, you pay $25 for 20 hours. If you want more 20, it's like, what?
No one's gonna jump on that. No.
Yeah, it's like it's brutal, man. It's crazy.
I think that's really built for their Shield.
Yo, that is worse. That is worse than fucking PlayStation Now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't you have to install the game too? Like you have to buy the game.
No.
Do you? I thought you could stream it.
I don't think you could stream it. You could stream it. That's their whole point. It's like it's running off the server.
Yeah.
Well, because I saw the video and they were talking about you get the Steam code or your Steam game and use it on their application on their Nvidia whatever now. So I just assumed that you had to buy the game.
But wouldn't that defeat the whole purpose?
That would. I mean, have you seen their portable? Their portable, that Shield.
Yeah, the Shield. Yeah,
the Shield. And I mean, I don't think it has the memory capacity to support all these large games. I mean, that's why once I heard this, I'm like, oh, that's why, because you're trying to get into that market where it's like, oh, take this, plug this into your TV monitor at home, whatever, and you can use it sort of like how Nintendo Switch is trying to pull. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about this whole GeForceNow thing? And thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Yeah,
that's what my kid says. You ready to have some food? You want some veggies? I'm like, all right. That's what she tells me. I'm like, all right.
It's insane, man. All right. And then this other. Go ahead, man.
It just defeats the purpose of the whole thing. you gotta, why can't it just be some sort of like a light subscription service? Why does it have to be all that?
Probably because they want a large cut of profits, but then they still have to pay the publishers to have the games on their system. So it's just like it's too many other people taking their chunk, and Nvidia is still trying to get a big piece of that. So
yeah, and maybe the server space and all that shit too.
Yeah, that's all going to cost. It's all going to cost.
Am I the only one?
Obviously, go ahead, Brett.
Am I the only one who's terrified to see games go in this direction? Like I can see a weird dystopian future where like we roll back to the old days of AOL and you pay for gaming by the hour. Like I would fucking hate the development companies to come out with like what the answer to the problem is between a 5-hour campaign and a 120-hour campaign, both selling for $60. We'll just charge them by the hour and make it streaming. Like that is my nightmare.
And hold on. I got a quick question for you, Brett. Did you have these same fears when On Live came out?
Yeah, like I just feel like streaming gaming and paying for it, like especially like as a monthly service, I understand, and I've been on board since way back in the day when I had the Sega channel. But paying hourly, like as soon as you link usage, like and meter it and charge for it, then you have a significant problem, in my opinion.
I got you. All right, Carlos, what were you gonna say, man? Carlos.
I was gonna say a joke. I don't know if it already saturated, but I was gonna say, like Don Matrix smiles at you for complaining about always online. If this comes into fruition.
Oh man, no, but Brett, I'm with you. It's like okay, because it's basically like $2.50 essentially an hour to play this shit. It's like, come on, man, really?
What was
a subscription would be fine. Like, hey, you pay $20 a month, right? Okay, that I could live with that.
Dude, if they had Netflix of gaming, we'd all be on board.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If they could fix the latency.
If they got to work like Netflix, where you could just pop it on, there's like 100 games, and you didn't have to download shit. You could just boom stream any sense you want. Like we would all be on board. We'd all pay $8 to $20 a month for that shit.
I mean, right now the only one that's something like that is that PlayStation Now. But
yeah,
still, I mean,
that's just a collection of old games and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's just old stuff, but.
I do find it hilarious how because we always complain about the pricing of PS Now. Now PS Now looks great compared to this.
Hey, but the thing is that you're getting new games off of that service. Exactly. PlayStation Now you're playing for a bunch of old games that you already have.
I'm really surprised. I thought at the PlayStation Experience they were going to announce like a price drop or they were going to announce some kind of change to that plan. There's no change to it.
It's just like the Vita memory card, son.
Yeah, exactly. This is gonna stay at that high price. Like, $100. I'm like, that's still too much. For a year subscription? No.
Yeah, and then the thing is that there's no guarantee that any of the games you are playing on there are gonna stay on there.
Yeah. See, this is why I think Fan of Ash should be the fucking. I'm sorry. This is why I think Fan of Ash should be the gaming journalist, not me. He goes, and he reminded me about this. He goes, Square Enix actually had their own streaming service, but they already shut it down. That's right. I guess people weren't with it.
Nobody gives a shit.
A single developer can't have their own streaming. Like that.
EA has theirs.
That's that's the problem. Like everybody wants their own streaming service. Every EA, everybody wants you to sign on to their thing, and that's the thing that nobody's buying. Like that's why Netflix is a thing, because you have cable. And then you have Netflix that pretty much takes care of all the other shit. Like to a certain extent, Netflix is actually a really good example of a blue ocean strategy. They're not trying to cover your cable. They're not trying to cover Redbox. They're kind of doing their own thing, but they make a niche that makes them invaluable. So they're a really good example of blue ocean strategy, I would say.
Yeah, it's weird. Hey, Rico, what are your thoughts on streaming games?
I didn't like it before it came out, and I don't like it now. I know before it came out, everyone's like, "Oh, Gaikai and PlayStation, this is gonna be fucking awesome." I know before they even announced that they got Gaikai, they were talking about how they're gonna put 3.8 or 38 million, one of those two, $3.8 million into something to do with their network. They didn't tell us what it was at the point, and I was like, I hope it has something to do with getting some sort of dedicated servers or actually helping PSN. And then we hear that they bought Gaikai, and everyone's like, we get Gaikai. I'm like, so it's not dedicated servers. It's not actually fixing PSN. because that's what I fucking wanted. So everyone was like, "Yo, Ricky, you're just hating." I'm like, okay, and then it fucking came out, and everyone's all screaming about the PlayStation Now prices and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't down for streaming. Before they announced it, and I'm not for it now.
I think the problem with that whole situation is that the minute they said, "Oh, you got to pay for it," that was the big. I mean, people wouldn't have any. If Gaikai in connectivity, we said this before, was within the PlayStation, PlayStation Plus, whatever it is, I think people would definitely be more inclined to take advantage of it.
I guess, but
or even if you cut the damn thing by you're already paying a subscription service to PlayStation to play online and do all this other shit, right?
I think the other
why can't you just throw people a bone? Be like, all right, you get Gaikai PlayStation Plus for like $2 an extra. Yeah, that's great.
Make a full package deal. But then the other gripe is that for some of those, what was it? It was like 48 hours a week or something like that. But you can never really own anything, so it's just not like, no. So either way, you're just renting all these games.
Exactly, and
technically PlayStation Plus can renting too, but
it's exactly like
with the Plus system, as long as you have
it's exactly like Netflix, though. I mean, Netflix, there is no guarantee that There Will Be Blood will be on there, in a few months.
Remember Torrance was bitching about Ronnie Kenshin leaving? Not Ronnie, Samurai Champloo.
Samurai Champloo was
right about that. Okay, that's it. You can't play Titanfall anymore, on this shit. It'll take stuff away.
Exactly. So it's like at that point, it's like you're getting like a demo. It's more like you get like a 3-month demo. Yeah, and if you don't beat it in that time, then you're shit out of luck. At least you have the save data, right?
Even Netflix, like if you're actively watching something, it will tell you this ends on blank date. And so you'll have the opportunity to be like, oh shit, I need to spam watch this because it's it's got a month left on Netflix. So I would imagine you wouldn't be kicked off a game you're currently playing, but you could have one off of your backlog list suddenly disappear. So that's frustrating. But I don't think it's going to be one of those like you're in the middle of playing a game and they're like, oh man, you've got 2 days left to beat this game.
No, you know what? I wonder if it does do that. Like, if you play it over the date, will it just go pew and just turn the game off on you?
You need to get a refund of whatever remaining time you had.
Well, I look at it kind of like the days back in Blockbuster. I mean, you went with your mom or dad to Blockbuster. You went over with your buddies. You aren't guaranteed to get a game, right? And you had to return it in 3 days, right? So you had to beat that shit in 3 days, or you're paying overages.
And you went uphill in the snow both ways.
Yeah, of course, barefoot. You know how it was.
I miss those days.
Brett gets it, but I look at it like that. It's like if you really want to binge this game, you buy it, right? If you really enjoy it, then support it.
Well, that was the whole thing. It's like these services don't even have that option to like, you know what? Press this button and you can own it. It's like it's rental. It's streaming and it's rental.
No, it's rental, and go out and buy a PlayStation 3 if you really want to play this.
Yeah, exactly.
The GameFly does that option. You can rent the game, and then if you decide you want to keep it, you could just pay the difference.
It's crazy. All right, let's move on here. Some more CS stuff. Okay, I need the PC guys on this one. You got to help me out here. Okay, so apparently, we were saying that the new AMD Vega GPU is going to help the Scorpio deliver 4K 60 frames a second. Torrance is one of these people, actually. He was telling me about it. We're having a little bit of a private chat. He's like, it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. It's going to be crazy.
But I thought Vega wasn't being released until 2018. So how is that possible?
Hey, listen, these dudes are just jumping on. And Carlos, weren't you talking to Daniel or something about this on Twitter?
Yeah, he was talking about, so I haven't really looked up like what the Vega does, like in particular. Like supposedly what it like the high level stuff is that it utilizes memory better. It's like able to utilize like over 500 terabytes of memory instead of like having GDDR5 RAM like the PS4 does. Like you can use what he was telling me is he says you can use an SSD drive and use all that memory and use it as like a buffer for your graphics card. So he's like, oh well, you can have the Vega graphics card, and then you can stick an SSD on the Scorpio, and it'll do anything. And I'm like, yeah, man, they're not gonna. They're first of all, I don't think the Vega is gonna be on the Scorpio, and second of all, they're not gonna put an SSD on that shit.
I said this last year. The Vega is not going to be ready. They cannot make even a reference system with it. So how are they going to make the final system with it when it's not going to be launched? This was in AMD's roadmap till 2018.
Yeah, that's the reason I brought it up, because we've talked about this many times. So people keep clinging on to the soap. Even here's what I love the demand, but I don't know why Torrance is still clinging to this stuff. It's like, dude, it's not coming, man. But he's still with it. It's like, yo, if Scorpio does this, it's going to change everything. It's like, no, Chris, like you said, it's not coming this year.
Think about it. Let me ask, if this is AMD's new flagship high fancy falutin architecture chip, why would they put it in an Xbox, and why would they put it in an Xbox in any way that would be reasonably priced towards them actually?
Thank you.
It's the money that Microsoft has in AMD, because remember they were going to buy AMD.
Yeah.
So they're
Xbox,
still
right?
Yeah, Microsoft. Yeah. Microsoft is still in that.
Here's the thing. I want to touch on something Brett said, because it's very important. Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, this happens, right? You're going to tell me that Xbox Scorpio is going to release at $400, $500 with this brand new chip? No fucking way.
No, and that's what I told Daniel. This shit would be more expensive than my PC if you do the things you were telling me.
Right. Yeah. An SSD, when SSD prices are going up, and this chip, man.
So why are these guys clinging to this shit? Even people that should know better.
And it's not only that, but they just announced this graphics card. So you're telling me that they just announced this graphics card, and Microsoft already has a dev kit of a Scorpio, and it's already sent to developers to develop the games, which is for a console that's going to release this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, this is we've been saying this over and over again, but nobody wants to listen to us. All the shit that's inside the Scorpio right now already exists. Yeah. It's not coming out. It's already existing. So I don't know where all these theories are coming. Is this more of the whole like secret sauce shit mentality? I don't get it.
The whole No Man's Sky thing.
No, this is
more than what's actually there.
Yeah, well, this is exactly what's happening with Nintendo, where I see all these arguments that it's going to be running Pascal. And even though Digital Foundry and Eurogamer did all this investigative research and they have exact specs, fanboys don't deal in reality and facts, and they are actually just using one line from a press release that Nvidia made months ago to say, no, see, they said it's using the latest generation of technology, but the second generation Maxwell is using some Pascal stuff. That's what they mean. It's a marketing spin. So you're taking marketing spin over fact, over the stuff that Digital Foundry has gotten leaked from developers who have reference systems and all this stuff. See, that they don't care about those facts. AMD releases their roadmap for the next 2 years. No, don't care. Don't care. This is what's going to be, because they feel that way.
Yeah, and Chris, as we know, feelings are more important than facts nowadays.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It's like, guys, stop with the nonsense already. Like, it's already been established, but you guys are clinging to this crazy ass hope.
Trust me, man.
All the fucking time.
If Microsoft, for some miraculous reason, had this, they would be pimping the shit out of it.
Yes, it would, because it would actually change things. Like, it would really revolutionize things. If they, like, Carlos, you hit it on the head. If they had it, they would be pimping the fuck out of it. You know.
Yes, why don't these guys understand that? NVIDIA would not be making vague marketing statements. They would just flat out say, and Nintendo would say this too. They'd be screaming it from the mountaintops. You'd hear Reggie just fucking jerking off, saying like, oh yeah, we got Pascal, baby. It's this message report. But they're not saying that. You're going to get a little Japanese man coming out next Thursday giving you like a UN-style conference about how pathetic this thing is. So just brace yourselves. So with Scorpio, listen, temper your expectations. Let's not make up fantasies. You have to live in reality. You have to look at what's there and say, okay, this is what they can have. And we can have civil conversations. Let's not just get drooling, and that the Xbox Scorpio is going to, when it comes out by that time, it'll actually be Optimus Prime and be able to fight wars for you.
Yo, Chris, I'm going to hit you with something. What about these dudes that say it's going to have the Zen architecture in there? The Zen GPUs and stuff, like the shit that's coming out beyond the Vega,
forget it.
It's these guys are nuts, man.
Yeah,
we'll probably have to tell you this again next month or next week because you guys don't fucking listen. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, I want Scorpio to be good, but you have to look at the reality. There's all this information is there. You can say whatever you want, but when you look at the information, you can go, okay, but maybe they'll do their best with what they have. And that would be the sane reaction to all this.
Okay, now let me ask you. Let me play devil's advocate, conspiracy theorist here for a second.
Sure.
AMD is the one that made that data folding or whatever. I think it was called like Liquid VR or something like that. The thing that basically is invented for VR headsets, which lets them artificially boost the FPS to reduce nausea. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh no, this is
I think I know what you're talking about. I can't.
We did a story on it last year.
No. I know what you're talking about, but I can't like 100% verify that. Basically, but I don't know if it was AMD or not. I know what you're talking about with the technology.
I think it was AMD. And if it was AMD and they're doing this new architecture, is it possible that they could use like their ability to artificially boost frame rates along with this new architecture that the Vega chip has, but in a more stunted, like you can use the same architecture but still make it like a really lackluster half integrated chip kind of thing. If you put both of these together, you might actually be able to get pretty decent performance. But even if you did that, do you think it would be able to run the games like a lot of these Xbox people are claiming these games will be able to run? I guess what I'm saying is, like, even if you give them the benefit of the doubt, like to the extreme, like, okay, let's say they do come out with a chip that has this Vega architecture. Obviously, it's not going to be the $500 flagship chip. It's going to be a cut down version. So let's just say that they do put this new architecture in, and they did find a way to process data better to artificially increase FPS. Do you think even then that it could do like Doom at 4K, 60 FPS, or do you think that's just a fucking pipe dream? Because it seems to me like it's impossible. Like, you are asking for $1,000 worth of product for $400.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want, you know, and they expect it.
But the problem with that is, like, the PC components can be sold individually. Yeah. Why would they sell $1,000 worth of things, but put them in a set for $400?
Phil Spencer even said it's going to be a premium price. You know,
but they're contesting that now. They're trying to say, oh wait, 400 is actually premium, can be considered premium.
No, that's a competitive price. That's not
bullshit. Yeah, no. Here's their crazy logic. They're saying because the Xbox now costs $250, $400 can be considered.
You can't count sales.
No,
can't count
sales.
No,
it doesn't. That's not premium. The fucking Xbox One at 500 wasn't considered premium. You're gonna tell me 400 is premium all of a sudden? These guys are insane. You know. I don't know, man. Again, we'll probably have to correct everybody again. It's going to be very interesting when the Scorpio comes out. And yes, it's going to be probably more powerful than the PlayStation 4 Pro. I don't doubt that. But it's not going to be this monster that's going to overtake PC gaming like these guys are claiming.
It's going to come down to the games that they have on it and if they can improve that UI, which is horrible right now.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what games, though?
That's Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive.
Oh, they're going to need a whole lot of those. Whole lot.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying is that's a whole other topic right there. It's like, even when the Scorpio drops, the games are going to look better, but you could get a even better looking ones on the PC. You know,
here's the other thing: like, how much are those games going to cost? Because now they can justify increasing the price because I'm like, hey, look at this. Look what we just made here. You want the full effect? Come on, I can see it happening. Oh, I can see it happening.
You know, oh man. All right.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't think games will actually have an increase in cost because, as I said, these games are going to be running on Xbox One as well. So it would make sense to have one game slightly cost more when it's essentially going to be the same game.
Oh yeah, they introduced the ability to have disparity in prices. That opens up the box for like, well, what about digital games?
They did, yeah, but they did that. They did that with the Warriors. Warriors was $50. On the Xbox, and 360 was $60.
Really?
I remember paying a $10 difference, and they were like, "Oh, but it's HD. It's a whole other
that's a whole other topic." Like,
and it was
costing the same as physical games.
I'm telling you that. Well, Microsoft and Sony need to just realize to cut the cord when it comes to the retail if they want to really get competitive with their digital prices like Steam, because that's the only way it's going to work.
Buying games for $4 on fucking Steam.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way it's going to happen. If they say, you know what, fuck it, balls to the wall. All right, Halo, $2. 2-hour sale, $2.
To be fair, though, Sony and Microsoft have had pretty significant sales.
No. The best is Sony's flash sales. Those sales have been pretty good.
Yeah, they're great,
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. We got to talk about some sales numbers and other things. Okay, so Sony announced that the PlayStation 4, and this is combined PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, sold 6.4 million over the holidays, right? They sold like 53 million PlayStations sold to customers, not just shipped. And Uncharted 4 sold 8.7 million. I'm assuming that's including those bundles, right? So I find it funny that Sony is giving you these concrete numbers, right? Microsoft comes out and they're giving you engagement numbers for Xbox Live and talking about how many billions of hours, I'm not exaggerating that number, that people spend on Netflix. I'm like, kind of weird,
I mean, that's been their strategy since they've not been able to throw around weighty numbers, which is ironic because they're the one that invented throwing around weighty numbers to show how big their dick is. So it's
exactly.
So that's not news, I don't think, but I do have to say that is a lot of PlayStations.
That is, dude. That's crazy.
6.4 million. That's a lot.
I thought we had hit the saturation point a while ago, but that is,
dude.
That says to me more than anything right there. Just the fact that it's going to be 6.4 million holiday.
Shit. You know what?
Who is still buying PlayStations?
And I think someone that deserves credit for this is Microsoft, because remember, Microsoft was outselling, at least in North America, was outselling PlayStation 4s. And they were at a low price point, right? The Xbox One S. And then what did Sony do? They fucking lowered the price down to fucking Microsoft Xbox One S level, man.
Yup. Sony said, fuck that. They even lowered the price of the PS4 Pro for a weekend. It's like, yeah, let's lower that price by $50, And then other select resellers we're going to lower it by $100. Sony went crazy.
You could have bought I saw it as low as $198, man.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. Yo, Carlos, when you saw those prices, you were like, "Oh shit, Tony may be right about NPDs now."
Yeah, man.
And I was right. I'm gonna keep throwing that in your face.
Hashtag Tony was right.
Yep. No, but it's true though. Sony went fucking crazy, and think about it like this: the holiday season, right? Only really encompasses, I know it's supposed to be 2 months, but it really encompasses about a week. So they kind of sold that many PlayStations in a week, completely insane.
Okay, I want to point out just really fast that in a holiday they were able to sell 50% of the Wii U sold in its entire lifetime.
Fuck. Brad, go ahead, man.
Oh! I'm sorry, that just knocked the thought right out of my brain.
Think about that. In a week, probably a weekend. A weekend. They murdered the Wii U. And
this is on top of before we left, we were having the conversation of is Microsoft going to win the holidays? And there were people that were so sure. And even some of us were like, I don't know, man. They're looking pretty strong for the holidays. And then Sony comes out like a fucking berserker. Just cutting themselves, cutting everybody, cutting the competition. It doesn't matter. And prices cut everywhere.
It's
price is so low, he must be crazy. And you're just like,
we took 2 weeks off. Sony was at 50 million. We come back, they're at almost 54 million. What the fuck? It's insane, man. We didn't take a month off. We took 2 fucking weeks off. And Sony's like, murder. It's nuts, man. But I want to talk about Uncharted real quick. Uncharted, that's the highest selling Uncharted game now.
Yeah, what's it, 8.2 million or something like that?
7 million. That's almost 9, baby.
Yeah, and
ass numbers.
When you go to the retail stores, all the PS4s you can buy, all the SKUs, most of them are Uncharted 4 bundles. So that helped it a lot.
Yeah, I ended up buying a Call of Duty when I bought the second PlayStation because everything was a bundle. So I'm sure that helped. But I do have to say, million is a huge install base for any IP. Like, that is printing money. I mean, really take a step back and think about that. 8 million people bought your product. I don't care how small a percentage of each dollar you make. You just made a shit ton of money.
Yep. And this is physical sales, by the way. They didn't count digital. Think about that.
I'm surprised they didn't count digital. You would think they would.
About that.
So I gotta ask Tony. Didn't someone say a while back on Throwdown, someone, I won't mention their name, that Halo 5 would outsell Uncharted 4 easily? It wouldn't be a contest.
Somebody did say that on Throwdown, didn't they? And another person who may be wearing a specific hat said that Uncharted was going to outsell Halo. Where are those Halo sales numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, it made 400 million in a day.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
what does that mean?
Halo 5 to date right now is at 4.48 million.
Oh shit!
So,
Brett, let me explain to you what it means. 400 million. It means Halo games, console bundles.
No,
Halo
I know.
That, I'm not done yet. Halo mugs, Halo condoms, T-shirts, all that bullshit. You know,
it's frustratingly vague. It's intentionally opaque, and it drives me fucking like yeah, because it encompasses all those things. You can't even sit back and do the math. Be like, all right, well, you take into account distribution, retail, all these other things. Like retail is going to make a 50% markup on most of their things, and then you take into account, you know, distribution, cost of production. Like you couldn't sit back with an economist degree and figure out how many copies of Halo Microsoft sold, because they're not just telling you what the game sold. They're telling you about what their entire like Halo bubble is selling. Like it's irritating that, like, I get you may not want to just throw out there like we're selling half the consoles that our competition is, but like you could at least be honest enough about your numbers that somebody could sit back and like do the math and be like, okay, I can figure out basically how many copies sold so I can do a rough estimate. But like, no, you are actively like burying information while simultaneously giving people nonsense in an effort to like appease them.
5 billion bullets shot in Halo, you know, nonsense like that, you know?
Yeah, like I can't figure out how many the average that each player, like even if I were a statistical genius, I'm not gonna sit down and be like, okay, well, each player probably plays this number of hours per week and fires this many bullets per level and plays this many levels per hour. Like there's too many factors there to even get a straight answer. So it's not like they just buried the answer. They vaporized it and spread its ashes where nobody will find it. Like,
oh, by the way, I got to give a quick shout out to Jack Move Johnny. He just hit us with some facts right now. He goes, Gears of War Judgment, one of the most
the spinoff.
The only one hates that one. It outsold Gears of War 4. That's fucking bad.
But didn't Gears of War Judgment come out in the 360 though?
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
So
I can see the same, but Gears of War 4 is a great game, and these dudes didn't buy it.
Yeah, but Tony, you're like comparing like different generations. It's like saying, okay, and here's another fact that you probably didn't know. Uncharted 3 had a better like week 1 sales than Uncharted 4. That's a fact. Yeah. But then again, it's different generations, so you can't really say, hey, it's the same things. Like at that point, the Xbox had like how many like install base? Like
no, you know what, Brian, you're 100% right about that. It isn't.
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Now we can hear you, Rico. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah,
no, you're right, because you're comparing like an install base of like 80 million to like 20 million, 25 million. So you know what? I'll give them that. You know, but the fact is, Gears of War 4 didn't make those crazy numbers like it should have. It's a fantastic game. You know, I actually had more fun with that than Uncharted 4, but people didn't buy it. You know. But you know, I don't know. But yeah, Microsoft needs to stop fudging these numbers. Oh, players spend billions of hours on Netflix. Yeah, why didn't they spend billions of hours on games? How about that? You know,
who cares what people did on Netflix?
That's what I'm saying. Who the fuck cares? Yeah, you know, how many bullets were shot?
Say anything like?
All that says is like they spent 1,000 hours not playing your games.
Yeah, shit, man.
Just using your network to play movies.
Yeah, congratulations. You're bragging about being a Netflix box.
Yeah, man.
Next, I know like laptop makers are gonna brag about how long people use the in-app calculator.
Yeah, right. Shit, or solitaire. Here's my thing. Okay, they said the engagement of Xbox Live went up, more than last year. There are dudes out there that just leave their Xbox on all day, right? On Xbox Live, so that counts. You know that, right? That's engagement.
Well, I understand where they're trying to come from in the sense that we still have a vibrant, living ecosystem on our system. Because the biggest problem, or their biggest advantage last year was, look, we have the numbers, and now they're kind of fighting the backlash of the message that they put out, because that message is supporting Sony right now, because Sony has the numbers.
Yeah.
What console are all your friends playing on? Like, that used to pretty much be an unofficial Xbox motto. Now it's blown up in their face.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if what happens with the Scorpio, but I don't know if it's going to make too much of a dent. We'll see though. All right. The last thing, and Chris, I threw this here just for you, man. This is one of those like stories that's like, you guys are really surprised by this shit. Okay, so it's been officially announced that Mass Effect Andromeda, which is coming on March 21st, by the way, they finally give a release date. Mass Effect Andromeda, Yakuza 0, and Persona 5 will not be coming to the Switch. Who's surprised by that?
Right, but when Nintendo put their neat little sheet of people who are supporting the Switch, just like they did for the Wii U, EA was on there, and Sega was on there, and Atlas was on there. This is so sad, because the exact same fucking thing happened with the Wii U, and they said they were going to support it. I said this before, when they marched Ken Levine out at E3, and they said, "Oh, we're going to bring BioShock to the Wii U, this amazing hardware." Yeah, where is it?
Yeah.
they just gave him some money to show up on a stage.
Hey, Chris, you know where it is? The same place where BioShock for the Vita is.
Yeah, it's the same fucking thing. Yves Guillemot, the head of Ubisoft, before the Wii U, he came out and said, "Oh, we're going to give it all this support." Right? Of course, they brought Zombie U there. They gave you an Assassin's Creed, which apparently filled up the damn system because they were too short-sighted to put a proper storage in it. But other than that, it's like, oh, you were going to get Tom Clancy Ghost Online, right? You're playing that? No, that didn't happen either. And they all say the same thing. They're like, well, if the Switch, has market presence and will do this, they're just dog whistling the same thing. If Nintendo can sell the Switch, they will develop for it. Other than that, they're not going to waste the soft dollars and developers' time porting games to the Switch until it proves itself. That means it's the burdens on Nintendo to prove itself. They're all alone. They're like, you walk out in that desert, and if you make it to the finish line, we'll bring you some water.
if you go build a city on an oasis, we'll visit.
Yeah. Now here's my thing. Okay, Persona 5, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's also coming out on PS3, isn't it? So if that's the case, it is. It was just PS4 exclusive now.
I'll have to check on that. I don't think
Persona 5 is coming out on PS3.
Okay, because I think originally
it does say it's coming out for PS3 and PS4.
Whoa.
Okay.
It's on the official site.
True.
Okay, so this is the point I want to make, right? PS3 game essentially, right? It should, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, it should theoretically be able to run on the Switch, right? So to me, I feel that's sad.
There's a big difference. Remember, the PS4 and the Xbox One are both running on x86 architecture. They're basically PCs.
Yeah.
The Switch is not. It's and Brian would know this. The Tegra is an ARM processor, right? It's a RISC-based system, so it's not the same.
Okay, so I can't. Okay, so I can't directly compare because my thinking was like, hey, if you could run the game on a PS3, can't you kind of run it on the Switch? But I guess that's not the case either.
No, even porting from Wii U to Switch is going to be a huge burden because again, that's from PowerPC to the Tegra's ARM. So it's another burden to port to it. It's not x86 and it's not PowerPC. It's a totally different architecture. Shit. So Nintendo again is in this odd place of not being hardware compatible with anything else that it's competing against. And yes, they are competing against each other. Guys, I want to tell you, I'm sorry to say that they are competing with Microsoft and Sony, right? Or else they wouldn't go to a fucking Game Awards and buy themselves a couple. Right?
No, you're and people keep saying like, oh, they're not competing. They're not competing. Yeah, they are. They're putting out a game console, and there's other game consoles out. They're competing. Stop with the bullshit, you know. But yeah, there you go. Switch, man. Okay, Throwdown's gonna be very interesting next week when we're gonna cover this shit, you know. And I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna see if I could get me and Chris into the inevitable Switch React podcast. Chris, we got to be on that shit.
Oh, it'd be great because I would love to hear JJ and Nash argue with me, considering I have been consistently right through the entire year of 2016. The same year that brought us Donald Trump and a ton of celebrity deaths, I was also right. That's not a unique thing either. I will continue to make predictions this year.
So yeah, Switch. We're gonna find out. Oh, by the way, okay, so the Switch reveal event, right, is gonna be on the 12th. They're gonna give us the specs. Hopefully, they'll give us the specs, all this other shit. Then the day after that, they're gonna have like a streaming thing where they're gonna show off a bunch of the games. We'll see, because I know there's a lot of Nintendo fanboys out there that are very like hopeful. But again, it's like, Chris, you know how it is with these Nintendo guys. They like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the change that we've wanted. And it never comes. No,
because Nintendo hasn't learned anything. As I've been trying to put together my damn editorial, the thing I've been wanting to say about the whole year.
That's right.
And I keep finding out more things. I keep digging into their history and finding out how shitty they've been for the past 30 years. I just watched a documentary about Nightmare on Elm Street on Netflix. And you know what? Nintendo even had something to say about that because they wanted to make a joke about the Power Glove. And New Line asked them if they could use a Power Glove, and they said no. You know what Bob Shea said, the head of New Line? He said, fuck it, use it anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, and they said no. And they just said, we sue you. And he's like, fuck you, then sue me then. I'm still going to use it.
Yeah, Nintendo hasn't changed, man.
Yeah, exactly. I watched this thing about the history of part of the history of Namco with Splatterhouse. You remember that game?
Yeah, that was Splatterhouse.
Did that come out on a Nintendo system?
No. TurboGrafx.
No, you know why? Because Nintendo didn't want it. They told them no. And when Namco went to, and when NEC went to Namco and said, yeah, we'll make it for TurboGrafx. You know what Nintendo did? They told them they wouldn't release another Namco game on their system unless they apologized. I shit you not.
Wow. Sound like fucking babies.
Yeah, and this is the same company bringing in the Switch. So you think they changed? They do the same shit now. They were doing extortion to developers back then, the same extortion they're doing to YouTube creators now. And they think they still have a position to tell developers what to do. Hey, wakey guys, the 21st century, you don't have any power over EA or any of these guys. They're calling the shots on you.
I love the younger people who don't really, like, I've talked to a couple of them, they don't really understand. They're like, why won't they just develop for Nintendo? It's like, because you don't remember all the times that Nintendo like stabbed them in the back and like cost them a boatload of money. Like there is bad blood history there, and like Nintendo was the one who was the asshole first. They drove away all of their developers. It's not surprising that nobody wants to stick their neck out there for Nintendo.
Yeah, there's more and more stuff. Do you realize there was a small development group in Scotland that would eventually become Rockstar North? That Nintendo almost bankrupted them making a game. So you think the Housers forget that? You think when Reggie crawls on his hands and knees and asks for GTA 5, the Housers were there? You think they forget that? They're like, fuck off. This is why they didn't get GTA.
They offered in fact, they offered a previous version of that game to Nintendo, and they were like, nah.
And the guys who made Star Fox, the Argonaut, when they were making Croc, which was basically Mario 64, Nintendo just fucking stole that shit and canceled Croc on them.
Man,
how about that? Yes, I just find all this stuff. These are things people don't realize. They don't look. They don't have the history. They don't look back.
That's from the Guru Larry videos right there.
Yes, the one you sent me. That was one of the 4 times Miyamoto was a dick. He mentioned that. But the other stuff with New Line and Splatterhouse, I had to look at different videos for that. And Rockstar, that was in his video, Guru Larry's. But the point is, every fanboy goes back to, like, well, they saved the video game industry. So they're Al Bundy. They're the guy who threw the winning touchdown in high school, and 30 years later they're still bragging about it. That's what we're supposed to be proud of? That they haven't done jack shit since 1983?
And
nothing decent anyway.
the fact that they save the video game industry is fucking debatable to begin with. Like, I used to be on board with that, but the more I sit back with like critical memories, like, man, Nintendo did release a lot of fucking shovelware. Like, there was a lot of really shitty games that got released on
but
Nintendo.
Brett, the seal of approval.
Yeah, I know the seal of approval helped shore some of it up, but like, you were responding to a problem that you fucking created. Like, you're flicking cigarettes out the window, and then when a fire starts, you show up in like a fireman's outfit. Like, you're not the fucking savior here. Your greed and incompetence is what caused this fucking problem, and now you barely managed to contain the dumpster fire, and you get an award for saving the game industry.
I think that the thing about Nintendo is that they took specific steps to kind of separate themselves from what they considered the gaming industry. Like, they never at any point called it a gaming console. They called it an entertainment system. They even went to the point of trying to make it look like a VCR almost, to try to build that separation. And I think that's, because they didn't say the Nintendo gaming console or anything like that. That's kind of what helped them. And also the fact that they had a lot of the games that people wanted on there. But Nintendo was obviously doing all kinds of really shitty backdoor deals to fuck with people,
Right. I mean, the limitations on games, the stuff they did to Konami, why they had to make Ultra games in the first place.
They had Konami had two different other branches.
Yes. And that cost a lot of money to do that, just to release their products. And these are all the stuff Nintendo did to say they saved the game industry. All Nintendo wanted to do was make as much money as possible. They just happened to do this thing, and it's like, okay, they turned stuff around. Now, did they do it by themselves? No. The last time I checked, Sega was around, NEC was around, and then later on, Atari was still there, like gasping. Fucking 3DO came along, Panasonic, all these guys came along, but they didn't do this by themselves. They did a lot of it, but that was just to make money. That wasn't to like, hey, we need to save this for the kids. Really, they're so altruistic. That's why they tried to destroy Blockbuster and the video game rental system back in the 90s.
Yeah, they did the right thing at the end of Sega's Sword. Like, they were competing at that point. Like, there was actual competition. If they would have gone out and like Sega did just as much. Like, I remember back in the day, Sega did a hell of a lot to highlight the games that were good games. Like, I still remember being able to sift through the minefield that was Sega games for the most part, because Sega did a pretty good job of promoting a lot of the really good games. And even going back, like, there weren't a whole lot of really classic games that I missed, a lot of must-play games that I missed. So I gotta think, like, from personal experience, like, I know what people say, but from personal experience, like, it was usually more of a toss-up when I picked up a random Nintendo game. That I was like, I don't know if this is going to be any good. Like, I had more of a chance of a Sega game being good than I did of a Nintendo game being good. Am I the only one who felt that way?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I know what you're saying, because the thing is, back in the day, even though I owned a Super Nintendo and a Genesis, I did lean more towards the Nintendo.
I'm talking about before the Super Nintendo came out.
The Nintendo. Yeah,
because for each fucking Zelda, there was a Zelda 2.
Yeah, no,
for fucking Mario Brother, there was an ET
and a snake. Yeah, and a Snake's Revenge. Shit like that. But again, here's the funny thing. Okay, back then, right? Nintendo, since they were the big boy in town, they were pretty much the only place you go to. They could get away with shit like that, strong arming these developers. They could do that. Problem is, they still act like that in 2016, where they're almost irrelevant. I'm like, you guys got to get with it. You can't be acting the way it was in the 80s, where you're the only ones in town. You have to bow down to you. It doesn't work like that anymore. You got to modernize, basically, but they still have that same hubris. It's funny because, and I need to ship the book out to you guys, the Console Wars book, right? I'm reading this shit. This is late 80s, early 90s. I'm like, oh my God, Nintendo hasn't fucking changed. It's the same shit.
But that's what I've been saying on shows. I didn't even read that book, and I've been saying that.
Yeah, they don't act, and we've said this many times, they don't act like a video game company. They act like a toy company. In every instance, they act like a toy company. Artificial, like shortages, all this other shit. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and then people think the Switch is magically gonna turn everything around, even though it's the same people that brought you to Wii U, the same people that brought you to Wii, that brought you all these other systems. Things are just gonna magically change overnight. That's not how things work, man. Just because you feel it, just because you want it, doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
Well, no,
man.
but this is why I dismiss fanboy arguments, because they didn't acknowledge there was a problem with the Wii U. They thought everything was fine. So why do they have to right the ship if nothing was wrong in the first place? If you guys thought everything was so great and the Wii U was so great, why all of a sudden it's like, oh, Nintendo will get it right this time? That's admitting that the Wii U was wrong, which is what everyone was saying in the first place. So now that they're going to keep on saying, no, everything is fine, the Switch is fine, you're just hating. No, I'm not hating, but they're despicable. They do these things.
No,
and I come up from a unique place because I worked there, and I heard the despicable things that they did in even in just marketing. And I see it. And I call it out. You guys think, oh, he's just angry or whatever. No, I am angry. I don't hate them, but I am pissed off because I grew up with them a long time ago. And then to see all the shitty things they've done to developers, to like YouTubers, to reviewers, to everyone, to consumers, it's fucking sickening. And you want to worship these guys? You want to fall on your sword? You want to say the Switch would be so great and everybody should support it? And if you hate on them, you're a Nazi and all this childish nonsense. And you fucking sit there and it's like, oh, this is going to be so great. Well, fucking wake up. They haven't changed. They're gonna bring you the Switch. That stream is gonna look like a UN conference with Kimishima coming out and speaking Japanese, and he has a voiceover. That's what they've fallen to now. They can't even get Reggie to come out there and talk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They have different markets. Why the fuck are we watching a Japanese stream? It's pathetic. It's like, oh, I didn't see anything wrong with them talking about it 2 months before it launches. Really? Because the rest of the earth does.
They gave us a US version. Remember when he went on Jimmy Fallon? They had Fallon do it, and that was it.
That bullshit.
Yeah, the 20 seconds he moved a boulder. Yeah, that's Zelda.
Yeah, oh, man, Nintendo. Okay, next week, just get ready, Chris, because you know what's going to happen. We're going to be telling motherfuckers the truth, and they're going to be coming at us with some fanboy nonsense, you know?
That's
okay, see, it's the greatest thing ever. Dude, think about it like this. When they showed that fucking bullshit trailer, right, for the Switch, right? These guys were just saying, oh my God, this is amazing. Like that hipster shit. Really? That impressed you? But did you see the controllers? Like, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know?
I love it how they'll say everything is confirmed when they see a patent released. It's like, oh, they renewed their Super Nintendo controller patent, which they do every 5 years, by the way, because they're legally required to, or else they lose it. Everybody's like, oh, SNES Classic confirmed. It's like, no, there's nothing confirmed. They have to renew their patent. But you want to believe that? Whatever. When it doesn't happen, that's a sad day for you. But they do that over and over again. They renew the Eternal Darkness trademark. You know what that means? That means they're going to give it to you on Virtual Console because it's the easiest, laziest thing they can do for you.
Or they honestly just don't want other people to make money off of it. Like, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to keep a trademark on something like the Super Nintendo controller. They just know that the second they let the patent off on that, a floodgate of imitation controllers is going to hit the market, and people are going to spend a shitload of money on that, and they don't want that, but they don't want to lower themselves to actually re-releasing it for whatever God knows fucking reason.
Didn't the patent just go up for Mickey Mouse? Wasn't that a thing with Disney? And
no, it'll never happen.
No, they keep extending it. They keep
they keep extending it. I remember that came up, and they were like, "There's no way they're going to let that go."
I'm pretty sure a lot of that falls under like a lot of entertainment patents. I think fall under date of last use. Like it's like date after creator's death or date amount of time after last use.
That's why a lot of Warner Brothers films are actually public domain nowadays, because they don't have a good enough patent office within their company to kind of look over these old cartoons and be like, okay, we got to redo the patent or redo the character again. So they lost a lot. There's some, if you look up public domain Warner Brothers film, you'll find a shitload of them.
That's crazy, man.
I also want to point out with Nintendo that before everybody gets all up in arms, like, understand the Wii U is dead. Right, like it is dead in the water. They have stopped supporting it. They have stopped shipping it out. I have heard them recalling them from stores. It is dead in the water, and their next system is not out yet. That is not normal behavior. You don't kill off your console before the next one gets there. In fact, you usually leave it for several years after your new console is out. So we're like, you have to understand we're walking into this conversation with Nintendo already being in an unprecedented bad position. Like, there has not been a console that has succeeded or thrived when this kind of bullshit has preceded it. You are making wild assumption that this is going to fix Nintendo when they themselves are not showing that they have that kind of faith in it. Like, you can't come hot off the tracks of a failure and be like, this is going to be an unprecedented success. Now, if you actually want to call a spade, and if everybody wants to, notice the fucking elephant in the room and be honest about shit, could this revitalize their handheld market? Could they be backing their entire business strategy behind their handheld market and trying to make a handheld that you can plug into your TV in an effort to continue to dominate that scene in the face of tablets and mobile gaming? Yeah, absolutely. That could be the one thing that saves them. But we all need to be fucking honest here and say that this is a glorified Game Boy that hooks up to your TV. Nintendo has officially jumped out of the console market. They are not making console-worthy games anymore. They're making handheld games that you can bump to your TV. But you know what? Just about every mobile device is going to allow you to go from mini HDMI to HDMI, or Apple iPad, or Apple like does AirPlay or whatever the fuck. Like, you can put your smart devices onto your TV. This is not magic and it's not new. This is simply Nintendo going along with a trend that is already going in mobile gaming and is going to, if they do not pick it up, basically push them out of the market. If you can buy your kid an iPad and they can play Fruit Ninja and they can just, and it's up on the TV because they have a smart TV, but the Game Boy doesn't do that, guess what? They're just going to let the kids play with the iPad because most likely you already have one of those anyway, and I've seen it happen time and time again. Nintendo's market is shrinking, and they're hanging on by their fingernails. This isn't ingenuity. This is desperation.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. And as I've always said, if this thing bombs and it's looking like it may, Nintendo may be forced to go third party. I know I sound like a fucking parrot right now, but that's the only other option they have because, and Brett, I didn't even think about it, but you're right. It's like, if you could buy a tablet, right, for $200, plug it into your TV, right? The fuck do you need a Switch for? The Switch is actually an Android tablet.
You don't need a dock. You can actually, like, if you have a smart TV, you can just, like, there's like a button that you press. Like, I've watched YouTube videos and I've accidentally instigated like some AirPlay kind of thing where it's supposed to jump onto my TV. If I have my shit set up, I can just throw that video on whatever fucking screen I want. I don't have to plug it in. I don't have to put it on a dock. I don't have to do shit.
But I mean, I don't want to go too much longer with this argument. But the thing is, the other thing these guys say is like, oh, but people will buy it on the strength of the brand. My thing is, what fucking strength? Nostalgia. That's all it is.
They've just been riding the strength of the brand for the last 2 generations.
Yeah, it's bullshit, though. These are the same people that said, oh, Super Mario Run is going to sell like hotcakes because it's a Mario game. Hey, guess what? The thing fucking bombed.
Oh, yeah, it bombed big time. Do you realize the conversion rate dropped from 8% initially when that a-hole blocked me on Twitter, the fucking guy who keeps ranting about Nintendo. Yeah. And I told him it was at an 8% conversion rate, which is pathetic. This is why investors were selling off the stock. It dropped to 3% out of total downloads to purchase, 3%. This is why the stock dropped. This is why they lost over $3 billion of stock value. And wait till that conference tomorrow. And I made this prediction before. Remember I said on Throwdown, when Super Mario Run launches, investors are going to run from the stock because always on DRM is a failing strategy. And what happened? And I was right about that. Watch what happens with the Switch. They're going to show some disappointing shit. They're not going to have the titles that these fanboys think they're going to have ready. They're going to have some ports ready, and everything is going to be at a later date or TBD. And investors are just going to go, what the shit is this? And then their end of year ends when the Switch launches. You realize they have to give a financial report the next month? Yeah. How's that going to work? Yeah. And this is a month when you just said Mass Effect Andromeda is launching. March is a big month for games, and so is April. And the Switch is going to launch among this when consoles never launch. How is that going to work?
And then, I mean, not to get too into it, but again, things coming out in March, right? They're just going to start promoting it next week.
Yeah.
come on, man. Anyway, let's get off fucking Nintendo. Okay, so that's pretty much the show right there. But before we go, since we got Riku here, Riku, I want to ask you about Dinosaur Warriors.
Can you hear me,
Dynasty
right?
Warriors. Yeah, we hear you now. Okay, so Dynasty Warriors 9 has been announced, and it's going to be an open world game. And how do you feel about that as a huge fan of the franchise?
I think it is a ginormous step for Omega Force to be taking. I honestly don't think they can handle such an ambitious route, but we'll see what they will do with it, because they said that they're going to be getting a lot of help from the Tecmo side of Koei Tecmo, the guys that make the Dead or Alive games.
Yeah,
they actually said that they're for their engine, they're gonna get a lot of help from those guys. So we'll see what they can do when it comes to that. But I heard some of the things that they said that they wanted to do as far as this open world experience, where they said you can travel all across China, and it's going to follow the time periods of when certain battles actually took place in the timeline. And within the timeline of that, there are certain battles that happened at the exact same time. Like one battle will be happening way over here, and another battle will be happening way over there. And you have to choose which battle you're going to participate in. And, whichever one you don't choose, there's a chance that if your faction is actually fighting that war or battle, they could lose, and that could affect the overall story. Apparently, that's how they put it. So that sounds extremely ambitious for Omega Force. So I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do with that.
And by the way, apparently I sound high. Like I sound high. What's going on?
Thought that I heard that. I thought that was me. I was like, why is Tony sound like he's up on helium right now?
Do I really sound like I'm on helium right now?
You do.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't. Okay, I guess I'll have to talk lower so it all sounds better.
No, you just sound like a kid now, trying to do a low voice. It might be different on the final version. So
what about in the chat? Do I sound like a chipmunk? What's going on?
Yeah, you sound.
They're hearing it too. Apparently, that's weird, people. So I'm sorry. I apologize for my way. I didn't touch anything. I'm guessing it's this weird soundboard thingy going on.
No, there's some sort of connection problem that's happening because you're like a little bit spotty too at the same time. So it probably is something happening there. Yeah, we love the future, don't we?
That Time Warner Spectrum now, as they're called.
Yeah.
Bullshit. But Riku, I want to go back to a question you asked us because I thought it was a very interesting question. I think we gave a pretty good answer. Like, what is the difference between a sandbox game and an open world game? Right? I think we answered it pretty well. I don't know if you heard that episode because we basically said like a sandbox game is a game where you could literally just do whatever the fuck you want, and then an open world game is like it's just a big ass world.
Yeah, I like that answer. As far as like sandboxes, like let's say Hulk Ultimate Destruction or Prototype or Crackdown, where you're I would say a lot of sandbox games usually take place in a small city, and open world games are usually more than just a city. It's landscapes and mountains and caves and whatnot. That's usually what I see when it comes to the environment standpoint between the two differences of open world and sandbox. But yeah, I would agree with that. Sandbox most of the time.
The sandbox.
Go ahead, Manny. Go ahead.
The sandbox, it's actually like if you think about a sandbox in real life, it's someplace where you can do anything. So the best example of that would probably be something like Ark, or I
would say GTA.
GTA is an open world because you can still run around in the open world, but there's still structure to it. A sandbox is like Minecraft. You kind of make your own play within your within the world.
I would consider GTA the biggest of sandboxes out there, but I wouldn't consider it open world.
I would say GTA can be sandbox just because you can spend so much time. Like you don't actually have to do missions. You can just run around the lobby.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
I think
as far as
to be honest, I think
I would say it's the biggest hybrid of them. But I was saying I would consider that one sandbox.
Yeah, but it's funny when you asked us that question because the first instinct in my mind was like, I don't see the difference. But then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, wait. No, there is a difference. Minecraft, that's like the biggest example of a sandbox game. Do whatever the fuck you want, you know? It is big and stuff, but it's go ahead.
And then you take a game like Metal Gear Solid 5 or No More Heroes, which are open world, but they're not sandbox.
Open world. Yeah, they're not sandbox. You can't just do whatever you want, you know? Pretty
I would say
interesting.
that for the Ease games also. Those are open world if you played any of those. Especially the one on the Vita.
Riku, by the way, I want to tell you about East real quick, right? Because I had like, you know how on the PlayStation Store, the one online, not the one on the actual PlayStation, you could make a wish list, right?
Yeah.
So I put all the East games in there. Then I come to find out all the PSP East games are on Steam.
Yeah, I saw that. All of them are on Steam. I think that Steam actually has more Ease games than the PlayStation Network does. I think they have Ease 6, Arc of Nepotism. That's on Steam. It's not on the PlayStation Network.
I can actually open up my Steam real quick. I could tell you, but yeah, I just found out I'm not, because I was gonna get them for the Vita. I'm like, oh wait, I could just get them on Steam. That'll be better, you know.
Yeah,
but
the only one
still have to get, because there's still some PSP ones, and I'm glad I got some Spanish guys in here because you guys will understand the joke. Because there's this one game. What's the name of it? Riku?
Memories of Salsetta.
Yeah, when I look at that, I'm like, it looks like Memories of Chancleta. That's what it looks like.
Hey, you with a flip-flop?
Yep, you already know, man.
I know.
I'm like, that's Chancleta, son.
That's funny.
So they got East Oath of Felgana. They got East 5, the Arc of Nepotism, East Origin, and East 1 and 2 Chronicles.
Yeah, the only one that you obviously need to play on your Vita because it's not available on Steam is Memories of Salsetta. All of the other ones, yeah, you can play those on Steam. I actually heard the Steam versions are better because some of them run in 60 frames and all this good stuff.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's
better. The Birdman gif, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah. First, Riku, the stage is yours, my friend. Anything you want to say?
Oh, a little bit more about Dinosaurs 9 as far as
yes.
The
that's why I love having Riku on, man. We never talk about Dynasty Warriors, you know? Except when we shitting on it, right, Riku?
Yeah, when you shitting on it, I'm in my car. Motherfucker, I slit your throat. No. I don't know if Chris is
Riku's about to drive his car off the road.
Is Brett still here or did he have to go?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, correct, because you and I were shitting on fucking Dynasty Warriors the other day, and Riku got mad.
No, I didn't get mad. I was just like, I understand where Brett was coming from, but one thing Brett forgot to mention was, I remember when Tony's in Tony's defense, he was talking about how the only thing you do in Dynasty Warriors is kill officers and that's it. And Dynasty Warriors 5 started that crap, where that was the only thing you had to do was kill officers and move on. They didn't really have in 4 and 3. You had objectives. You had escort missions. You had stealth missions in 4. You had.
Oh, dude, I'm right there with you. I still think like it's kind of a hybrid RTS. It's like it's kind of an RTS where you played a character. Like the objective wasn't just to go around and kill as many people as possible. The objective was to complete these objectives.
That's why they created the Empire series. If you want to say anything RTS related, is the Empire series, because you can literally press pause, the whole map would appear. You would see chess pieces, and you can tell your officers to go here, go there. Defend this base, because if you don't defend this base, the mission is over. They're gonna run over there and fuck up that base, and it's gonna be mission failed before I could even go and kill the main captain. So that's what the Empire series is about. That whole RTS related stuff. That's why people like it. That and fucking create a character. But back to 3 and 4. 3 and 4 was the reason why Dynasty Warriors actually got popular in the first place, because it actually had, strategy when you were playing those battles. And it had fucking difficulty. That's one thing that 5 threw out the window, because they're like, oh, if we want more people to play Dynasty Warriors, we have to make it easier for them. and when 5 came out, 5 had 7 different difficulties. It had novice mode, very easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, chaos mode, and I think ultimate. That's 7 different. Why the fuck do you need 7 different difficulties? And for novice, very easy, and normal, all of the fucking troops helps are fucking, you know, a little tiny red meter for their health, and you can kill them in 1 hit. So that's 4 difficulties that don't even need to be there because they all play the same. And normal mode is the one that they default all of the dinosaurs after 5 to. So when you play the games and you're killing everything in 1 hit, yeah, I can understand why, you know, some people's impressions on it is, oh, this is easy, this is stupid, this is repetitive, this is boring. And then when it came to, I think 5 was the one that added chaos mode. And chaos mode was supposed to be, oh yeah, this is the hard mode. It's not as hard as 3 and 4 is because they didn't actually make the AI difficult. They just made them hit harder.
I hate that.
Which
yeah.
They just threw like 1,000 more at you, right?
No, they didn't. It still was the same amount of troops. It was just, oh, this little private that you can kill in 1 hit, he can kill you in 1 hit too. That's not hard. That's bullshit. You know, and 3 and 4 didn't do that shit. 3 and 4 was, you know, they actually blocked back. They did their specials when you actually hit them. Like Brett was saying, it was like playing Soul Calibur in 3D. It was fucking. They actually fought back with you. And one thing I liked about 4 was, I don't know if you remember in 4, Brett, duels, when you saw a fucking officer and a fucking cutscene would happen, and he would be like, I want to fight you 1-on-1. And you had to press circle to decline him or press X to accept the duel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If you decline the duel, all of your whole entire army is like, oh, he just declined the duel. Our whole morale just went down. Now everyone is gonna fucking be a pussy, just like you did, and you're most likely gonna lose that battle because you didn't want to duel this guy because you're a fucking pussy. And
yeah, you can run away in shame, but like that's
run away in
really
shame.
enough. That's great. You're just whooping the shit out of a whole group of characters, and all of a sudden, like an anime, it's just like boom, somebody calls you out. And you're like, wait, whoa, what? What happened?
Yeah, a fucking cutscene starts, and he does like this stance. He's like, I want to duel you now, and you have like 5 seconds to make your decision. This meter's going down, and if you accept it, you and him actually go inside this arena where it's just you and him, and you fight, and you both have full health. And you know, if you lose, obviously your morale goes down. If you win, your morale goes up, and everyone gets stronger. That was only in 4. They didn't bring that. They took that away in 5. 5 was the downfall of like, you know, where at all of those like.
Did you play the One Piece that was running on that engine?
I played One Piece Pirate Warriors 1.
Yeah, so
that was fun.
All right, I'm just trying to figure out which version of Dynasty Warriors is it running on.
Bitch, by the way, do I sound like a bitch now?
You still sound kind of high.
Yeah.
God damn, because I turned all that fucking shit off.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. I apologize, people, but the was it One Piece one?
Mm-hmm.
I played that at an event, right? And I find it funny. I'm like, okay, it's the same fucking game. I have more fun with that for some reason.
I know why too. Because when it comes to this is what Koei did after 7, where they're like, they know for a fact that when it comes to Dynasty Warriors, the only characters that people know is Zhao Yun and Lu Bu. Those are only 2 people. Even though there's right now in the most recent Dynasty Warriors, 83 playable characters.
What?
The only characters people know is Lu Bu and Zhao Yun. Cover Boy and fucking Lu Bu that'll fuck you up. And they know that when it comes to the Dynasty Warriors games, it's fun to play as someone that you know. So that's why they've been going out of their way lately to come up with a Berserk Musou game, a One Piece Musou game, a Gundam game, because they know that they're going to get those fan bases playing a Musou game with some character that they can relate to and know. And Luffy and Zoro in particular are 2 that people fucking love to just slash around or punch around with Luffy and whatnot. I enjoyed it, but the thing was, I know all of the fucking Dynasty Warriors characters, so I know their story, and I actually read, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I know about all of the characters, so I get my enjoyment out of playing as a character I know. But when it comes to people that don't really know those characters, they're like, who the fuck is this guy? He has a sword. I mean, I guess he's cool, but they don't know anything about him, and they don't have any connection to it. But when it comes to Luffy or Kenshiro or Wing Zero, people are like, oh yeah, it's and shit. So I definitely think that has something to do with it, as far as connecting with who you're killing a whole bunch of people with. And
I don't know, Riku, because I played whatchamacallit, Ken's rage a little bit. And you know me, Kenshiro is my boy, man. But I still got
that's the thing.
5 minutes till I got bored, son.
That's the thing they did with Fist of the North Star too, where the 3 default difficulties that you start on are easy as shit. I put it on hard in that game, man. Raul and Ray were kicking my fucking ass. Dude, it was fun as shit playing on hard in that. But yeah, I do agree. When I was first playing, I was playing on normal. I was like, this shit is boring. And I swapped it to hard, and I was like, okay, this is where it's going. Fist of the North Star is one of those where it wasn't bullshit where he punches you and all your health is gone. So that was a good one. But majority of the Musou games now these days is when you put it on the harder difficulties, they just hit you and then you die, and that's not hard. That's just bullshit. And when it comes to the release times of Dynasty Warriors games, it's usually around 2.5 years or maybe 1 for each Dynasty Warriors game. That's why we're on 8 right now. But when it comes to 8 to 9, 8 came out in 2003. That means we're entering the 4th year. I think that's the biggest gap. That is the biggest gap we've had between a Dynasty Warriors coming out, not including Empires or the spin-off games. So they actually said in an interview they're taking their time with this one, and they really want to blow people's mind away with this one. So we'll see what the fuck they're gonna do. I don't believe them because me and Omega Force have not been on good terms lately. Dascom have been playing a whole bunch of other things other than Dinosaurs. We'll see. We'll see what 9 can do because they are hyping the shit out of this one. And I'm gonna put it on hard. But I was telling you about that, Tony. Same thing with Ease.
Yeah, you told me to put that shit on hard.
Yeah. It's like hard is the new normal for nowadays games because people just don't know how to fucking make good AI for normal difficulty. And Dynasty Warriors and Ease are 2 games that nowadays days you just have to put it on hard from the get-go because you're not going to get any fucking enjoyment or a challenge out of normal.
Yo, Dynasty Warriors 9 is PS4 exclusive, right?
9?
Yeah.
In Japan, yeah. Oh, when it comes over here, no.
Okay, here's my other question. Is it the first game that's made solely for PS4?
9? Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, that one's only that one's gonna be on next gen. They said they're pulling out all this. That was like what they did with 6, where 6 was the the first one on PS3, and they stopped making fucking PS2s. So yeah, when they do that next gen jump, that's when you usually see something really ambitious going on. So the fact that they're taking 4 years to come out with this one, they're really trying to win back their genre that they have popularized. Because there's been a lot of fucking beat 'em up and hack and slash games like Dynasty Warriors that have been coming out and kicking the shit out of dinosaurs when it comes to that genre, like Senran Kagura, Sengoku Basara.
Brian's favorite.
Yeah, Senran Kagura, Sengoku Basara. There's one that just came out called Fate Exilia from the Fate Stay series. Yeah, that one just came out, and all the spin-offs that the Musou guys have been making. All of those are, have been, really fucking good. So 9 is trying to win back the genre that they have popularized in the first place. So we'll see what the fuck they're gonna do. But I do think I'll dive into it, and I'll see if I can vouch for it and recommend it to you, because we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, we'll see. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to Reggie Weapon X. This dude is in the comments thirsting over Titanfall Princess. What? What? I'm calling you out, Reggie. He's like, oh, but I'm married though. He's like, come on, Reggie. I know what you're doing, man. I know what you're doing. Reggie's a character, son. Yeah, King of Fighters 14. That's what she's rocking. That's awesome. All right, so let's start wrapping this up. And again, I apologize for my chipmunk voice. Apparently, I can't hear this shit.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
You hear it in the recording, dude. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me actually. Damn it! I can't hear the fucking sound from the video. Yeah, something's up. I'm still figuring this bullshit out.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm trying to listen to the show here live, but I can't hear myself. I don't hear shit. All right.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so let's wrap this up. So start asking us questions now for Throw Down Your Questions 115. That's on Sunday because we wanted you guys to just chill out for a couple weeks. Now start asking us shit. So please do that because otherwise we're not gonna have a show. We're just gonna talk about Dynasty Warriors some more for 2 hours. Shit.
I got shit to talk about.
And also, please check out the Final Fantasy 15 spoiler alert that we recorded last night. This show was crazy because we had my man Earthbender Charlie. He went off, man. He went off. We did a tour. Okay, spoiler alerts are usually 1 hour. This show was 2 hours. He wanted to go for another hour. He went crazy.
Oh yeah. Let me say one more thing. Let me say one more thing about dinosaurs.
Hold on, Rico, before actually, you know what? Go for it. Say it. Rico was getting
one more thing. Dinosaurs does have a story, motherfucker, and it's a really fucking good one. If you actually knew what the hell was going on.
And shit,
Romance of the Three Kingdoms is one of the highest critically acclaimed Chinese stories of all time. You look it up, and
I know. What happened? So now I've lost my train of thought. Okay, so with Charlie, and then after we finished like an extra hour, he just went off air.
I saw that.
Yo, and he was like, man, that felt good to get that off my chest. I'm like, damn, you've been holding this shit in for a month. The thing with Charlie, he's a huge fan of Final Fantasy. He's played all of them, so he was heavily disappointed with 15. But it's interesting. Really? We also had Mr. Megative on, who loved the game. Mr. Megative actually did a ranking of all his favorite Final Fantasy games. The reason I wanted to have him on, and the reason I wanted Charlie on, Mr. Megative put Final Fantasy 15 as his number 2.
Yeah. So wait, Charlie Kun has actually played 1 through 10. He didn't miss any of them.
No, he didn't miss any of them.
Oh, I finally found someone then because I was trying to find someone for like at least 3 months that has played 1 through 10, not including the online games, and 12 and 13 trilogy. And I couldn't find anyone. I was like, oh, I didn't play 1 or 2, or I didn't play 6, or I didn't play. Everyone was always missing 1 or at least 3 Final Fantasy. So he's actually played all of them.
Yeah, he was the only guy on that. No, him and Mr. Megative were the only 2 guys that played every last Final Fantasy, even the online ones. As a matter of fact, Mr. Megative said if it had Final Fantasy in the title, he played it. So he's on like Dissidia, all that shit. These guys. I don't fuck around when I put these guys together. I brought the hardest of the hardcore. So it was a really good chat. So check that out if you've beaten the game. So, by the way, I find it hilarious that in the first hour after we recorded that, it got more hits than the Gears of War 4 spoiler did in 2 months.
I wonder why that is.
Because our fans are a bunch of ponies.
Uh-oh.
All right, so since I turned everything off and it's not working, just do you have the final outro there?
No, I don't.
All right, fuck it. We're not gonna do it this week. Fuck it. Because
we started out a little bit different, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that bullshit doesn't happen with my voice.
I don't know why.
I can't be sounding like this all the time.
We're the chipmunks.
So yeah, you can actually see.
Yeah, it's a distortion too with the voice too to go along with it.
Will you say words are like bullets?
Oh, words are like bullets.
Say, where's my 20-sided die?
Where's my 20-sided die? Hey, keep them coming, man. I'll say I don't know what the fuck I sound like. I sound normal on my end.
The plane.
Yeah. Oh, the plane, boss, the plane.
Okay, I'm amused and satisfied now.
A fucking midget Mexican and shit. All right.
He's not Mexican. He was French.
He was French. I thought he was Mexican.
No, he was French.
No, man, he was illegal, man. Like, look at that dude.
That dude was French.
Well, he wasn't illegal. He was from a little island.
He was also an artist before he became an actor.
That's crazy. All right, so let's wrap this shit up. So thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also help us support the site by donating to the Patreon page. We got a lot of subscribers now on Patreon, so thank you for that. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys.
Ultra Combo!
Hey, Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Laters, everyone.
Brett Murdock.
Deuces.
Brian Munjoma.
Uncharted 2 Plat is coming this month.
Oh shit! There we go. Adam Vale.
Keep watching Lucha Underground. Telling you.
Yes. And Titanfall 2, buy that shit.
Oh, yeah, they should already have it.
And Riku's Son 1, the only one.
Buy a PS Vita, you cheap ass bitch ass niggas.
All right, people. See you next time. Later.
Later.
Later, guys.
Peace.
See ya.
Peace.